Hello and welcome to From Bar to Business. I am doing the question asking today, Lindsay.
Yep,
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Awesome. Okay, so before we reveal the big question, the big secret, let's go back 4 years to the studio launch.
Yes, okay.
What did business feel like back then?
Exciting, but also very shortly after it was exciting, it felt overwhelming.
Yeah.
Certainly, the Georgie had just come along a week after we opened the new studio.
Yeah.
So that put a kind of logistical pressure on us, and also the lack of sleep and getting up every day and having to run this brand new building, train the staff, make sure everyone knew what they were doing, set processes in place, and whilst being exhausted and getting up multiple times a night was really hard. So your brain almost blocks it out, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, I've got definitely a big blank hole in my memory. Another one.
And then, it felt heavy at times because we were getting bills the size that we'd never received before, and having to learn how to deal with that financial pressure, and bills of that size and unexpected large outgoings that we hadn't planned for or anticipated or been told about before. And that was all really, really hard.
New, wasn't it?
And new, yeah.
And what do you think were the biggest challenges throughout this first couple of years in terms of like running the school side of it?
So I would say, when I left my job in London, we always knew that we had to grow the business, we had to scale, because it's the only way that we would be able to support the family. So scaling was always something that we needed to do. And one of the first things I did after leaving London was start looking for new premises. And we were lucky enough to find one during the COVID. And
do you remember when we were in the small studio and I used to say, I need you to get me a new studio. I need you to get, that was like just the running phrase all the time, wasn't it? As if it was just, just pluck a studio out of the sky.
I know, but you could see, because all of your senior students at the time, they were all getting taller. The classes were as the school got older, the amount of people in the older classes was getting more, and they were growing, and they couldn't do more than 2 leaps across the floor in the other studio.
I remember this one time, it just come to me then, and it was actually a mum who still comes to us now, and I will always remember the changing room used to be like
rammed.
Oh, it was hot, rammed, and you used to have to like shoulder barge your way through. And I remember one of our mums, I saw her coming through the crowd and being like, "Get me out of here!" And I will always remember that moment, because I was like, "Have a great day," knowing inside that we had to make a change because it was becoming ridiculous. This was before like COVID times where
you could pack people into a tiny space and no one would think about the airflow.
No. So yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. So it was actually the COVID kind of regulations on how much air was passing through the building that really put an extra pressure on us to find
it like propelled us forward.
It propelled us forward. It made us take a really big leap. And what we had to actually borrow as much money as we could find, more than we ever thought possible, and more than we ever intended to, in order to be able to renovate the studio. And we had to put together business cases and all sorts of things to convince the landlord that we would be able to pay the rent.
Madness, isn't it?
So that was heavy when these big bills started coming in.
And then all the students are coming in daily, and so there's new students coming because they've got this new building. So then take away sort of the building and the bill side,
the pressure
side. You've got we're managing team, we're managing teachers, we're managing students in this building, and they all want various communications and information, and that was challenging, right?
Yeah. So the school, as a consequence of in fact, even to take that out of it, the moving the whole school from one building to another building almost, and just interrupting the entire school's timetable and schedule. That whole process was really disruptive because, of course, we lost some people who couldn't carry on coming because the timetable changed. But the volume of communication that came in just in relation to the new building, the new classes, and everything that we needed to do, whilst also trying to attract new people, it was an overwhelming volume of communication. And I found that I couldn't focus on what I needed to focus on to make sure that the finances were in place and the maintenance was happening, because there was so much communication coming in from customers. So
and there was no one else to answer the emails at that point.
We didn't have any staff to answer at that point, any staff dedicated to answering those communications. So I felt like I was failing constantly. I felt like I was dropping the ball all the time. I felt like people weren't getting answers quick enough. And I felt like I was failing you because I was promising all of these things that I would do, and I never got the time to do them. And you, knowing you very well like I do, you don't like people to give you a deadline or a promise and then not to follow through. And you also don't like things to take a long time.
Back to the floating island. This island was just pausing.
This
big giant island.
Yeah.
It was kind of sinking a wee bit.
It was. Yeah, so I felt like I was failing every day. And then that starts building the stress and the pressure. And then there's this, it's really hard not to sort of, for that pressure and the feeling of stress to be pushed out towards the staff. So
was there ever a moment that you thought, this isn't worth it?
Yeah. I mean, there were certainly moments where I felt, why did we do this to ourselves?
Yeah.
I never felt like giving up, like the only option was to give up, but I did feel at times that we would have to find other ways to survive. Like I might have to go and get another job or something like that.
Do you remember the phase of what was going to be a part-time ambulance driver?
You still want to do that?
Oh, I'd love to do that. So just quickly jumping off subject, we were under like so much financial pressure to support the family and all these bills coming in. I was like, well, I can just do something else. So if you reverse that question back on to me, was there any question that whether it was worth it? I had moments where I was like, what have we done? What have we actually done? But I also know that I will make it work. I will have no doubt that we will make it work, and I will not let it fail. There's just no option. But then, like, because I went to ballet school, the whole not going to uni, like, this is what I do. There's nothing else that I'm doing, right?
You don't have an alternative career path that you can...
I can't just fall back onto my degree in science, you know? And, but I was like, went through a phase of, what could I do? Could I go get a couple of shifts in Marks and Spencer's? That's just around the corner from the studio. I can just nip round afterwards. And then I was speaking to one of the parents, and he's an ambulance driver, and I was like, how many shifts do we? And I was like, I can do 3 shifts a week around what we do. I'll just do some shifts. Then I looked at the training, and you had to have a degree. Anyway, so we went through this really weird phase what else can I do on the side? So that we can survive.
So
okay, so let's look at the turning point. So
we
knew there was a turning point where we knew we had to dig deep. We were digging deep constantly, but we had to dig deep, and we knew something big had to change for us to be able to sustain these bills coming in, the size of the building that we had to fill with wonderful dancers and customers.
And well, before I answer that question, I just want to be clear that there was never a point when we weren't trying to move forward.
Oh, no.
And there was never a point when we weren't building things or having a vision of what we were trying to achieve. Our challenge was mainly around having the time and space to be able to deliver it. So we were in the business doing every job, holding everything together, and we couldn't ever take our foot off the gas. We couldn't give any time to the family. The move from London to Edinburgh to work together was supposed to give us more time together as a family and a better lifestyle. But in this moment, at that time, for that first year,
there wasn't a lifestyle, was there?
There wasn't a lifestyle. It was really intense and really hard. So the shift was, we need to find ways to introduce to improve the quality of the service whilst removing the amount of tasks that we specifically do. We needed to find ways to automate stuff that was being done manually. I think a phrase I really like to use is automate the routine and humanize the exception. So what I mean by that is any routine tasks where it's the same repetitive task done over and over again, automate it, make it happen automatically to the largest extent. And any exception is when somebody has an issue or a problem or a need that is an exception. It's not part of the day-to-day routine or part of a routine process. That's when someone needs you as a person.
Yeah.
So by automating the routine, you're more available to be able to humanize those exceptions and be available to the people who need you for something that's outside routine.
Yeah.
So we started doing that.
So what specifically did you start to put in place to be able to start to scale the communications and the amount of volume that we were
A couple of things. We invested in a team before we could afford it. So before we could afford it, we brought in staff, and we've there's always a tipping point that we've found where we can see a growth opportunity or a way that we can improve. But when we realize that we don't have the time to actually improve, to execute that improvement, we need to get somebody in to give us the space. And that always comes with a risk and a cost because we can't afford to bring that person in at the time. So we invest in team before we can afford it. With that team member having a clear set of responsibilities, which gives us time to make the change. Then we invest in our time. Once we've brought that team member in, we invest in our time that we've freed for ourselves to make that change, which is going to improve the business. So we brought in some staff, and then I started working on investigating and implementing different systems. And those systems have enabled us to improve specifically our sort of enrollments and the communication that our new enrollments get. Previously, everything was done manually with no way of tracking them other than keeping on top of our inbox. In a sort of dance school environment, you have peaks of when new enrollments come, specifically at the beginning of new terms. So we were getting loads of queries.
And you can feel it, can't you? So if you, in the holidays in the summer, for example, I could feel myself becoming anxious on the run up to the summer holiday because I knew that my team that I manage were all going off for the summer. And I knew that we were left with all this communication that was about to come in. So our summer was busier than the term time. And I used to feel it coming. I'd be like, oh, here we go.
Everyone's winding down and you're winding up. Definitely. Actually, when the term was in full flow is probably when you're at your least busy. But not always. As you've sort of grown to become the overseer of the teachers, and you've moved out of the timetable more and more. And in fact, that's one of the areas. So as moving into this business, into the new studio, you have moved out of the timetable more and more because it was becoming harder and harder.
I can't be in it to be able to see it. That's what I was finding. I kept saying to you, I am in it. So I'm in the studio all night and I love it. And that's where I love that environment, but I can't see the rest of it. So you can't be in it and see it at the same time.
The teacher doesn't turn up or something and you're teaching classes, there's nobody to help to manage that. There was nobody there to resolve it. And so you find that yourself as the person who would go into a class if a teacher was unavailable rather than be the person who was scheduled. I've diverted away from the question.
So the question was, what did you start to do to scale when you started investigating your systems? And that's been a process I've watched you from the side develop.
So it's over years and years and years. It's learning what systems exist, seeing the new technology coming out, seeing existing technology, and how can new technology and existing technology work together to make things more efficient. And yeah, after years and years of trial and error and consultations and with software providers and back and forth with existing softwares that we use, to try and get them to implement and change aspects of their software, we've managed to almost fully automate our onboarding processes and many other processes, so that we don't lose people. That's what I was saying. At the beginning of a term, we always find that.
Oh yes.
Yeah. At the beginning of a term, you'd always find that you get these massive peaks of enrollments, but we were handling everything by email directly, so the inbox is so full, yet which means people are waiting for a long time for a response. People fall through the cracks and they get missed, and if you don't respond fast enough, then they just end up going somewhere else. And not because the class that they came to with us isn't good enough, but just because nobody followed up with them. They didn't get the feedback. So we've completely taken ourselves out of that entire onboarding process, and we've actually improved the quality and consistency of all the messaging that goes out to every new starter. So by doing things like automating those processes, we're wholly available for the people who need specific support during that onboarding process. So it's been implementing systems and structures and processes like that throughout the school that have enabled us to get the space we need to oversee the business and how it runs, and also give ourselves back some form of time and a life.
So I've watched you build these systems. We kind of like run alongside each other, don't we? Like,
yeah.
And I can honestly say that the service that customers provide, whether they're existing and whether they're new onboarding customers and students, that the quality of what they receive like outweighs a manual communication.
Far exceeds a manual communication.
Far exceeds it. Yeah, absolutely, because they're getting quick responses, and we've been able to have time to think about the information that they need. So over time, you realize what information people need off the bat, right?
Yeah.
So we've been able to like put that into the automations that they need this information really quickly.
Yeah, it's through years of watching the pattern of communication that comes into the inbox, particularly with new starters. If we continue on this example, you understand which questions are getting asked at which point.
So you can answer them. You can answer them before they're asked.
Proactively,
is where I'm trying to get to.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's bring it to today.
Yes.
Right, and we've been working on something in the background recently. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Oh yes, absolutely. So
just to fit something else in our lives, you know.
So I'm going to give a little bit of background context, so bear with me.
Okay.
We always knew that me coming into the business.
I'm just going to pick up my coffee
then. We always knew that me coming into the business, we needed to scale in order to survive, for it to be able to
you'd have to just go back to London, wouldn't
you? Yeah. And I always had an intention of coming into the business and being able to implement things that would enable it to function without me needing to be there, without it relying on me being in the processes, and then having the ability to always be looking at how to make the business improve and get better without actually delivering the processes myself, without being a cog in the big machine. So we have effectively done that. We've over time managed to remove ourselves from the day-to-day tasks so that we can think more strategically, and so that we can plan and deliver the projects to improve the business. Whilst we're in the business, we end up doing tasks that don't enable us to develop the business. So That has been really successful.
Yeah.
Now we sit outside the business looking in. We oversee all of the decisions, what we want the staff to do, but we don't do any of the doing. And we have taken all that experience of being there firsthand, being in the doing, running all the tasks, from being in a tremendous under a tremendous amount of pressure, to being completely outside the business and overseeing everything that happens, still being very much involved, but without the operational experience. So we want to give. We've decided to take all that experience and put it into a program.
Yeah.
Where we support other schools and studio owners to make changes within their school to allow them to step back and lead their schools without being stuck in the processes which prevent them having the time to grow and improve what they do.
Yeah. So can you tell us a little bit about what we've put into the program? Because it's for me it's a little twofold.
Yes. Yeah. Tell me about how you see it and what you think.
I am the interviewer today.
Well, I can.
Okay, well I can say what my fold is, and you can go on to your fold. Yeah. So I have over the years really worked on and improved on my leadership, because that has become my role entirely.
Yeah.
Leading the team, leading the culture of the studio, leading the even the way that I would like everything to feel when people are walking, like down to the detail.
And decision making.
And the decision making. So
that can't be underestimated.
Who's asking the question?
I know, but I want you to tell me about your decision making skills.
Okay.
Because that is, for me, such a huge part of running the business, is having the confidence.
I mean, it's been a process, and I feel like I've always been able to do it quite naturally anyway. Just make a decision. This is where we're going. This is how we're going to get there. But then when things get bigger and there's more pressure, you question whether what's the right decision and what's not. And
stakes are higher, aren't they?
Yeah. But and when I have conversations with different studio owners and an amazing studio owner I'm working with at the minute, her biggest barrier is making decisions and worrying what the impact is going to be on other people and what they're going to think about it.
Yes.
And I am able to take people over that edge to help them make a strong decision that is right for them, and to be able to have clarity on the pathway, and then lead the people around to be able to come on board with them on that journey. So strong decisions is
strong decision making.
Yeah, is critical.
Clarity as well. I think another thing I hear you talk about is clarity, getting clarity in your mind about what your role is and what you want, how you want your school to operate.
So as soon as you've got all these different strings attached to your bow, you're pulled thin in so many areas. Whereas you need to have the strong vision of that you can. I trust you to do that. That's in your area. You don't need me to make that decision on your behalf.
Yeah.
To your staff, to your teacher, whether it's a small decision of who's going to stand in the front line in the choreography. I trust you to make that decision, to a big decision.
Yeah.
So you have to be able to pull yourself out of these decision makers,
recognize
where your boundaries are and where your path is, so you can do your job properly.
Yeah. Recognize which decisions you need to make and which decisions you can delegate.
Yeah. So that's my fold, and I find it. I love helping people be able to see that.
Yeah.
I love it. It makes me so excited. So that's my fold.
Yeah, that's your part.
Yeah.
So we together are going to offer this sort of 2-tier service, which is the sort of mindset, leadership, vision.
Yeah.
And helping people with your very relatable experience, helping people feel more confident in playing that leadership role within their business.
Absolutely. And I think that before you go on is that what my side of stuff is, there's a big industry out there in coaching and mindset. And when we've discussed that, I would really like to take what our experience has been over the last, I would say like 7 years since you left your business. So before then, I was doing it all myself, and it was kind of running along, and it was awesome, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then things shifted when COVID hit, and we got the big studio, and we knew we had to scale. So I think when I knew I wanted to pass on our experiences, because we've experienced so much and overcome so much.
Yes.
But I knew that to offer this advice and to offer a program where we can help people, take people from studio owners from A to B, is that you have brought something completely unique to our studio.
Yes.
That makes our program that we've developed completely unique.
Yeah.
Completely. Because team together, I bring the leadership, decision making, come on, let's go vibes.
Yeah.
And you have this technical ability and learn. I know you've learned it, and pulling things together that people in our industry who've come through my background and my pathway, it is so foreign to us.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that's for everybody, but generally you've come through my pathway, you went to a college, you found a passion, and you open a school, and things start to grow, and then you're like, oh my goodness, how do I now communicate with all these people?
Yeah, you're a victim of your own success.
And you get stuck because you don't have the next skill.
Yeah.
Right?
You don't even know what the next skill is that you need.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So that's possibly one of the challenges for me that I've had to learn over the last few years is how do I communicate what it is that I'm trying to achieve with these people who they look at me like I'm speaking a foreign language. I'm talking gobbledygook. I'm talking gobbledygook to them,
Yeah.
So I actually found the easiest way was to show people, was to just build it and show people. And we do have one teacher who loves this type of thinking, this sort of logical, systematic, structured thinking, which is really unusually unique in a creative industry. So the skill that I'm bringing to this partnership is how do we looking at your processes, how do we systematically design your processes to remove you from the tasks, to free your time so that you can become the leader that you imagine yourself being, but you don't have the time to be. So the two things together, the sort of leadership mindset and clarity and decision-making coaching that you bring together with the practical tools for implementing automated systems and services to free your time without adding significant cost burden. That is that's the offer.
Yeah, the powerful duo, right?
Yeah.
So we have created something called Scale Beyond You. Yeah. I'm incredibly excited about it.
What does Scale Beyond You mean?
Oh, it means that you can grow bigger than yourself.
Yeah, and you can scale yourself in terms of through smart system automation, and those words just go over people's heads straight away. Yeah. But in this industry in particular, but if you use the right tools, you can scale your impact. So your own design, you can design the service, you can design exactly how you want people to receive the communication, what it is, and how you want it to operate, and you can make it happen without you having to do it.
Yeah.
So it's about scaling your business to deliver your service, but beyond what you could deliver by yourself.
Yeah. So can you just tell us a little bit about what we're going to offer initially?
Yeah, sure.
In terms of like the actual product itself.
Sure. So we've actually got 4 products, and we're going to run our one shortly, but we're going to run free sort of possibility calls, through which we will hold online calls where we'll talk through different things that we to show you what's possible in terms of delivering sort of systems and setups and changes in your business, which will ultimately free your time and give you back a life and help you improve the quality and service that you provide. We're also going to, so you're not just walking away with a huge to-do list and no idea how to execute it, we're also going to offer people implementation boot camps.
Yeah.
So intense 4-week programs where we actually support people with showing them how to deliver exactly what we know they can deliver.
So studio owners will have a beginning and they'll have an end, and they'll have an end product that we will guide them through, and they will come out of the 4-week boot camp
with a working system.
Absolutely.
So that they never have to manually execute that part of their business ever again.
Yeah.
Then we also have a sort of an ongoing accelerator program.
Yeah.
Where we will coach people through a variety of different systems and processes over time, so that they can accelerate the systematic side of their business and the leadership and team side of their business from start to finish.
Yeah.
Throughout the entire business.
And we're obviously throwing a little bit of fun, won't we?
Of course.
Like I don't like things to be too serious.
Yeah. So the accelerators will be for people who want that ongoing, continuous support to implement things within their business that transform their business, rather than just solving that one pain point.
They'll all link together.
And the first boot camp we're going to run is going to be around your onboarding. How do you deliver your onboarding?
Because the summer holidays are coming.
I
can already feel it coming. But imagine, I'm not stressed. And why is that?
Because we don't lift a finger to deliver any of our onboarding processes.
Yeah. Amazing.
So imagine coming up to a new term rush, a new term, expecting the overwhelm that comes with it, really full inboxes, but you've got a platform that just delivers your perfect customer service to all those people without you even having to open your inbox.
So the first boot camp that we're able to offer to studio owners, and studio owners we mean by someone who owns a program of classes. Correct?
Yeah.
So that could be dance, it could be yoga, it could be Pilates, in a studio context of like a timetable of classes. So the boot camp, I'm really excited, and I think that there'll be a lot of people out there who have experienced to some degree what we've experienced in the last 7 years.
Yes.
And we have like social media set up and all things like that if people want to catch it and you listen to the podcast and you can hear something relatable or someone who might relate to this, they can give us a follow. We've started to talk about how you can join up to our offer. But my last question is that I really would like to know, I actually would really like to know, what kind of impact do you see Scale Beyond You having in the next 5 years?
Oh, what kind of impact?
Yeah.
Gosh, on us or on others? On
the people that we support, the studio owners that we will help.
I think it could transform expectations in terms of what customers start to expect from schools, and it will raise the bar in terms of by raising those expectations so high. If you become a school that isn't meeting those expectations and isn't communicating effectively and isn't following up well, and still does everything manually and takes a long time to get back to customers, I think that's gonna it will put pressure on those schools.
Yeah.
Because we need, as an industry, we need to raise the bar. We need to raise our professionalism. We need to raise the expectations that customers have of us, and we need to stop behaving as one-man bands when that all the pressures on us, and it all lives in our
there's
shoulders.
another way, right?
There is another way. There's another way. And so long as we behave in our businesses as though I'm just a one-man band, I'm just a little dance school, then customers will treat us that way. So I think it will raise the bar for the industry.
Yeah, I'm excited, and I'm really proud of all the things that you've built for our studios.
Yeah, me.
So well done.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening, and that's been a really, I feel like I understand what we're offering a little bit more now. I'm joking. I'm totally joking. But yeah, catch us in a couple of weeks and keep your eye on our socials for all the things that we're getting up to, and have an awesome day. Millions of love.
Bye.